Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, today our group will present about SERTU rules and implementation in maintaining halal food product.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khairani binti Abdul Halim and my matric number is 1212189. So I will explain about SERTU according to MS 1500 2019. SERTU from a terminological point of view is the way to purify oneself from najis al-mughallazah feces, which are dog and pigs, are washed with water 7 times and one of them is groundwater. Whether the feces are solid feces that can be seen or have an external nature color or smell such as feces, urine and blood or feces that have dried and the effect has disappeared, the effect of the color or smell of the feces is no longer there either on clothing, body or place. The Malaysian Standard 1500-2019, which specifies the right ways to clean a variety of objects, including as the body, clothes, places, utensils, and equipment that have come into touch with najis al-mughallazah, requires the purifying procedure known as SERTU. In order to guarantee adherence to Sharia law and the specifications provided by the Halal Responsible Authority, the purifying procedure is crucial. The act of purifying by cleansing is referred to as SERTU. This is required whenever objects come into contact with najis al-mughallazah, which is regarded by Islamic law as a serious kind of impurity. The process entails 7 washes with pure water on the impacted goods, one of which includes water combined with salt. SERTU must be carried out to make sure that any equipment, machinery, utensils or processing aids that have come into contact with najis al-mughallazah in the past are cleansed. The Halal Competent Authority or Muslim workers with the necessary training must oversee and verify the cleaning process. This is especially important when transforming a processing line for najis al-mughallazah into a line for producing halal food. After SERTU is finished and the line is certified, halal manufacture is the only purpose for it. It is strictly forbidden to convert najis al-mughallazah and halal lines repeatedly.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurman Sarah binti Hamili. My entry number is 1212190. Next, let's continue with the differences between SERTU and SAMA. SERTU is the term used to describe the purification process of mughallazah najis, which are dug and swine by washing it 7 times, and one of the washing is with water mixed with soil. Whether the najis is aini or hukmi, if it came into contact with clothing, body or place. Hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, طهور إناء أحدكم إذا ولغ فيه الكلب أن يغسله 7 مرات أولهن بالتراب, which means the cleansing of the utensil belonging to one of you, after it has been licked by a dog, is to wash it 7 times, and using soil for cleansing of the first time. Sahih Muslim. Next, for sama. Sama is the term originates from the Arabic language dubigha, which means a method used to purify animal skin, whether it is to be eaten or not, which is removing the blood, flesh, and anything that is attached to the skin and is left unremoved. It will deteriorate and rot with astringent compounds such as alum, artenin, and others. Hadith narrated from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, إِذَا دُبِغَ الْإِحَابُ فَقَدْ طَهُرَ, means if the skin is thin, then it is pure. Riwayah Muslim.
In the halal food sector, SERTU is crucial since it guarantees adherence to Sharia law. All things that are considered halal are required by Sharia to be devoid of najis, especially the severe najis al-mughallazah. Pork and its derivatives are examples of things that are absolutely forbidden. By using SERTU, business may ensure that their products fulfill the legal and religious requirements needed for halal certification by cleaning facilities, utensils, and equipment that may have come into touch with such contaminants. The foundation of the halal food industry is consumer trust. Halal certification is important to Muslim customers because it guarantees that the food they eat complies with their religious principles. Customers are reassured that the strictest levels of hygiene and religious compliance are being maintained by the painstaking nature of the SERTU procedure. The industry's sustainability and growth depends heavily on this trust because any non-compliance could result in a large loss of market share and consumer confidence. Cross-contamination between halal and non-halal products is a major hazard in an integrated and diversified food manufacturing system. SERTU offers a comprehensive and efficient way to get rid of this risk. The SERTU procedure ensures that all processing lines and equipment that have encountered najis al-mughallazah are thoroughly cleaned, preventing any remaining contaminants from contaminating halal products. This is especially crucial when transitioning a processing line from handling non-halal to halal items or in shared facilities. Food products cannot be granted halal status unless rigorous adherence to purification procedures such as SERTU is required by regulatory bodies and halal certification bodies. Business can make sure they fulfill the strict standards imposed by these agencies by adhering to the SERTU protocol. In order to acquire and keep halal certification, which in turn upholds the legitimacy and credibility of the halal food sector overall, compliance with this requirement is essential.
Alright, so moving on to the next slide, which is regulatory and standards of Malaysia for implementing SERTU in halal food. So basically, there are four types of primary standards in Malaysia, which is number one, nation standards, MS 1500 2019. Second is guideline from JAKIM. Number three is MPPHM, and number four is MHMS. So let's go through one by one through this slide. So the first one is nation standard. MS 1500 2019 defines SERTU as the purification process required when utensils, equipment, or surface are contaminated with najis mughalazah, specifically pork or its derivatives. So, from the nation standards, we can go through one by one from the purification process, which is method of performing SERTU, implementation requirement, which require food manufacturers to establish standards, operating procedure for performing SERTU, and compliance auditing, which regular audit and inspection to ensure compliance with SERTU process. Second, for the JAKIM guidelines, Jakim's guideline offers step-by-step instruction for performing SERTU, which emphasizing the importance of using soil in one of the washes and ensuring that the soil used is clean and free from impurities. From the Jakim guideline, there are also certification requirements, which is Jakim requires the evidence that the SERTU process is properly implemented whenever contaminated by najis mughalazah occurs. Next, we have training and awareness. Tagim also emphasized the need for continuous training and education of its staff involved in the halal production process. And the last one is monitoring and verification. Tagim conduct regular inspection and audit for halal certified facilities to make sure that every single thing is adherent to the SERTU guideline. Next, primary standards for Malaysia, which is MPPHM, Manual Procedure for Malaysia Halal Certification Domestic. MPPHM 2020 specifies that any equipment, utensils, or surface that come into contact with najis mughalazah must undergo the SERTU process as per defined guideline before they can be used in halal food production. So from MPPHM, we can take a look from the certification criteria, documentation and records, which is the detailed records of the SERTU process must be maintained, including the date and method of purification and the personnel involved. Next, compliance checks. MPPHM also mandates regular internal audit and checks to ensure ongoing compliance with the SERTU requirements. The corrective action also occurs if any non-compliance is found during the audits. Immediate corrective action must be taken. So we're moving on to the MHMS, which is Malaysia Halal Management System 2020. MHMS 2020 outlines the requirement for a comprehensive halal management system, including the implementation of SERTU process whenever necessary. This includes integrating SERTU procedure into the overall halal assurance system of the company. From the MHMS, there are comprehensive framework, risk management, which the system emphasizes a risk-based approach to managing halal compliance, including identifying points in the production process where contamination with najis mughalaza could occur. Continuous improvement also can take a look, which MHMS 2020 encourage continuous improvement in halal practices, including regular review and updating of certain procedure to reflect the latest best practices. And the last one is third-party audits. The system includes provision for third-party audits and certification to provide an additional layer of verification to ensure that the certain process is correctly implemented and maintained. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, methods of SERTU. When something pure is contaminated with severe impurity, which is najis mughalaza, in a wet state, it must be purified, which is SERTU, according to the following steps. First, wash the contaminated area or object with soil mixed water. The affected area should be washed with water mixed with soil, ensuring the entire contaminated area is covered. This is considered the first wash. Second, repeat the wash 6 more times. After the first wash, the process should be repeated 6 more times using pure water, which is air mutlak, until a total of 7 washes have been completed. Third, optional use of cleaning agents. During the second or third wash, it is permissible to add a cleaning agent such as soap, which is considered pure if necessary. Additionally, it is allowed to add fragrance during the final wash, for instance, when purifying severe impurity. Tools for SERTU procedure include spray bottles for precise application of water soil or clay soap mixtures, cloth or sponges for effective distribution, brooms for comprehensive coverage over large surfaces, next pumps for delivering mixtures into complex structures, and approved detergents and sanitizing solutions are used to ensure meticulous cleaning, adhering strictly to prescribed duration in Islamic guidelines.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Meheralana binti Alias, metric number 1212192. So now I will continue with Islamic scholar perspective and fatwa on SERTU. So the first one is Mazhab Syafi'i and Hanbali. The method of SERTU according to both the Mazhab Syafi'i and Mazhab Hanbali is the same, involving 7 washes, with one of them using water mixed with soil. Next is Mazhab Hanafi. According to the Mazhab Hanafi, if anything is licked by a dog, it should be purified by washing it 3 times. And next, according to the Mazhab Maliki, the method for cleaning anything that has come into contact with najis mughalaza, which is dogs and pigs, is differs. So for dogs impurities, it is sufficient to wash 7 times until the impurities characteristic, which is smell, color and taste, are gone. And for the pig's impurities, 7 washes are not required. It is enough to clean it with pure water until it is completely clean. So next is fatwa regarding the usage of soap for tahara. So the 76th Muzakara of the Fatwa Committee of National Council for Malaysian Islamic Religious Affairs discussed about the ruling of samak for najis mughalaza using clay soap. So the Muzakara has decided that soap containing clay element is permissible to be used by najis mughalaza on conditions that the soil is sacred and the percentage of soil content in the soap is greater than the other ingredients, and the method of samak is done according to the syarak. Next is from Egypt, Darul Al-Ifta. Darul Al-Ifta is answering questions about the ruling of purifying containers that have been leaked by a dog. Said it is mustahab to use soil for the first wash. Next is from the Permanent Committee for Scholarly Research and Ifta. The final fatwa for this issue states, and the clothes are thrown into the pure water and are washed until traces of najis are gone. Thus, it purifies the whole of najis from dogs and others, on the conditions that the washing for the dogs is repeated 7 times and the first washing is from soil or anything that could replace its place, such as soap or others. Now is challenges and issues in implementing SERTU for halal food products. First, non-compliance by SERTU operators against the guidelines and fatwa of SERTU, in which they make their own interpretation on the rate of soil content mixed in the SERTU products. Next, the understanding and knowledge of the industry and the society about the need to do SERTU are still at a moderate level. And the use of modern equipment by SERTU operators aimed at the facilitating the SERTU process is feared to have not reached the level of SERTU prescribed by the Shara. And the existing SERTU guidelines are general and not specific to each halal scheme.
Next, how to ensure SERTU in industry. Different industries require specific halal certification rules due to unique operational needs, as generic standards often fail to meet these precise requirements. Second, JAKIM should formalize and standardize SERTU training courses, developing structured technical modules similar to those for slaughtering practices. Third, flexible pricing negotiations between clients or agents and SERTU service providers should consider area size, procedure complexity, and additional equipment needs. And last, establishing a centralized database for halal certification service providers will facilitate efficient access to qualified providers and enhance certification service accessibility. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.